Before we commence, Saleechut Leshabaeh Aesher Batamuz, excuses for the 17th of Tammuz. Let us remember to maintain our physical duties and safeguard them as the spiritual experience comes upon us. For as Psalm 22, verse 22 indicates, the spiritual and material worlds can so be tamed, and the associated story of the Re'em, the unicorns and the lions, indicates that you can be between these things and have a firm association with both. And by that, you realize what the Thelemic people call your true will. The 17th of Tammuz is in reference to the destruction of the temple, and it's secondary only to Tisha B'Av as a reference to, what's tragedy to the Jews. And so this was the second temple that was destroyed in particular. And then the Romans destroying on the 17th of Tammuz is where the date is chosen from. And, they ended the Bar Kokhba rebellion. And that would have been the second Jewish temple period, really. The first the first three were Israelite temple periods. Alhinu walhi abutinu at anu lak yutzer rutchut barub auninu kabdu anchut gazrut atzmu warbu tsrichut ki bash bah Asher Batamuz Nashtabru Haluchut Galinu Mbit Habchira Danu Nachtum One Gazra which shook Badnu Aura Ki Bashbah Asher Batamuz Nashrapa Hatura Harsu Awibinu Hahiko Wabrucha Shakina Muzwit Hiko One Musranu Bid Zadim Lahatako Ki Bashbah Asher Batamuz Hamad Tazlam Bahiko Zerunu Mayer Al-Ayer One Lakad Manu Rub What's Ayer Churba Mashushanu Wash Ba Habayer Ki Bashbah Asher Batamuz Habka Hayer the Push Makdashnu Thor Hum Shupi Hum Shemid Wonthol Machtan Wakla Ats Ada Watsmead Yan Kasnuk Natnu La Shamid Ki Bashbah Asher Batmuz Bathol Hetmid Kala Manu Kol Hud Washbutch Cherbu Shulf Awib Alinu Labich Lahiyut Aulim Wiwunqim Mukanim Lathbutch Ki Bashbah Asher Batmuz Bathlu Aula Wazbutch Murnu Lashukan Maunut Lakun Netpazranu Bakol Panut Nahpak Machulnu Laqinut Ki Bashbah Asher Batmuz Bathlu Urbanut Suranu Lapnik Murib Lashunut Lakun Lamda Lashunu Lumud Qinut Azbanu Bali Lahmanut Ki Bashbah Asher Batmuz Urmu Lanu Aunut Pazranu Bali Matswa Rucha Lakun Vrabta Banu Ancha Thor Ra Napshanu Ki Shacha Washbah Asher Batmuz Hapaklanu Lashun Wolshumcha Kashinu Arf Warbata Banu Asun Lakun Natnu Lash Lamshasa War Pashun Rah Yahwa which Litznu Masun Washbah Asher Batmuz Hapak Lanu Lash Macha Wol Shishun, and the person leading in particular, Shanu Shukun Ruma Wakbats Naputs Wutgenu Mak so what Adma Tusif Yaduk Shanit Laknut Iwama Wat Amr Latsyun Oma Washbah Asher Batmuz Hapak Lanu Liyun Yeshua Wanchuma. Deity of presence and my God over the places influenced by the ancestors. We have the alphabet. as starting each line of this. We have come to terms, O molder of spirits. Our groaning grew heavy with their abundant wickedness. Strong are the decrees, and many the cryings out. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the tablets were smashed. Well, people forget to mention that the destroying of the temple after the Bar Kokhba rebellion are the conquering of the Maccabees. Both of those were not, they were for a reason, but hence the iniquities part, right? We were exiled from the chosen house. The judgment of the place was sealed, and the decree was issued, and its light was darkened in the place. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the scripture was burned. Our enemies tore down the sanctuary, and God's presence fled. Well, the practice of the presence, anyways, from the sanctuary's corner, and we were consigned to the hands of the flagrant sinners to be consumed. For on the 17th of Tammuz, an idol was set up in the sanctuary. Okay, I guess that was following the Bar Kokhba rebellion. We were scattered from city to city. The old and young among us were taken captive. Well, that's what happens when you try to kill off everybody who's not your religion. Our joy was destroyed and set afire. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the city was entered. The destroying oppressor behaved insanely in the sanctuary. Well, I'm sure he did it deliberately rather than a mental illness. From the groom and the bride, the armband and the bracelet were taken because they angered and were delivered to destruction according to your terms. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the continual daily offering stopped. Every splendor and praise stopped in the place. And the enemy uncovered their sword to eliminate in the place, that the babies and the sucklings be prepared for the slaughter. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the elevated offering and the sacrifice stopped. We rebelled against him who dwells in the loftiest heavens. Therefore, we were scattered to all the corners, of the earth. Our dances were turned to funerals. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the offering stopped. We strayed in your presence through contentious talk. Therefore, our tongues were taught to utter funeral hymns, and we were forsaken without being counted. For on the 17th of Tammuz, the iniquities brought us their consequences, and we were scattered without finding relief. Therefore, our groaning was increased. O rock, see that our soul is prostrate, and transformed the 17th of Tammuz. Notice how they're, rather than using Semitic terms for the months, they adapted, Judaism adapted some of the Persian stuff that they encountered. The iniquities brought us the consequences. We were scattered without finding relief. Therefore, our wailing was increased. Our rock, see that our soul is prostrate, and transformed the 17th of Tammuz for us to joy and gladness. So are they waiting for the 17th of Tammuz to do their sacrifice and dedication or something? We were stubborn, so the catastrophe increased among us. Therefore, we were consigned to be trampled and dirtied. God is a verb and noun. See and spare this place from the catastrophe, and transform the 17th of Tammuz for us to gladness and joy. And the last two lines are, the SH and the T one, are particularly said by the reader. Turn to this place, you who dwells on high. Gather in or spreading out from the ends of the earth. May your hand once more acquire this awestruck people. And may you say to the shining example, may it be for the place set apart and transform the 17th of Tammuz for this place to a time of joy and consoling. Al-Mulk Yushab al-Kasa Rachmim Matnahag Bach Sidut Muchal Aunut Amu Mabir Rashun Merba Machila Lichthame Waslicha Lapushaim Asha Tazdakut Am Kul Busher Ruch La Kuratum Tanmul Al Hurit Lanu Lumer Shulsh Ashra Waskur Lanu Hiyum Barit Shulsh Ashra Kamu Shahudat Lanu Makdam Kamu Shaktub Weird Yahwa Banan Wititzab Amu Sham Wikra Basham Yahwa. And the congregation and the person reading all say together, We Aber Yahwa al Panu Wikra Yahwa al Richum Wichnun Ark Apim Warb Chesed Wampt Netzer Chesed Lalpim Nasha Aun Wupsha Wuchtha Wanqa Was Lechet Lonu Walshathatnu One Shultanu Sulchlanu Abinu Ki Chathanu Machol Lanu Mulkanu Ki Pashanu Ki Ata Adni Thub Wasluch Warb Chesed Lakul Barak Al-Him Al-Dami Luk Al-Tachrush Wal Tashqath Al-Ki Hana Al-Wibik Yahmyun Wamshanak Nash'al Rash Al-Naqmut Yahwa Al-Naqmut Hupya Kirchum Ab Al-Banim Kun Turchum Yahwa Alinu Lehwa Hishwah Al-Amak Burbatuk Salah Yahwa Tazbout Amnu Mushqab Lanu Al-Hi Yaequb Salah Yahwa Tazbout Ashri Adam Bathach Buk Yahwa Hushyah Hamluk Yanu, Bium, Ranu. Many congregations are going to have the Slechna Wal Amak, which we previously brought up, and then Alhinu Walhi Abutinu, Amr Babki Mapni Yed Shalucha Bai Ben Atsi Batuk B2 Bemgadi Wokbai Gutch Wubruch Wansa Asher Wal Leshabaeh Damni Hatsikni Hasikni Butchdush Herbiai Habia Muad Bumlatu Lashbur Bachuri Gamuz Warba Bu Pamim Bum Samus Wum Zamus Zabulu Kashur Shanut Mabkut At Hatmuz Chibani Abani Azi Biruch Tammuz Thamnu Pachim Chimsha Bamra Tolaut Mashlechut Yaklu Li Leshabaeh Aesher Balichut Ki Nukshati Kakla Aluba Butchput Shalwa Wah Saltchut Lurwai La Humtunti Shesh One Shitbrew Hulchut Midu Aditi Chali Waktum Ada Woodsmead. And with that portion, we only got to the one that started with the M. And so there is the talking about the destroying by the king of Judah. So Menashe started the destruction with the second temple period. Strong leader, king who who brings in the establishment over the throne of mercies, who acts with the mercies, pardons the sins of the people who have joined. You got to authentically join. You just don't say, "Oh, I've joined, forgive me." That could be a start. Removing sins one by one, granting pardon to accidental sinners, and forgiveness to the intentional sinners, performing acts of generosity with every living being. You don't repay them in accord with their evil, because God's more merciful than exacting is the point. And the person reading in particular, strong leader, you taught us to recite 13. So make mention of us today for the pact of the 13, as he made known to the humble one In the ancient times, so it is written, God as a verb and noun descended in a cloud and stood with him there, and he called out with the name God as a verb and noun. And everybody together, God as a verb and noun, God as a verb and noun, strong leader, compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abundant in kindness and truth, preserving kindness for thousands of generations, forgiving iniquity, willful sin, and error, who cleanses, may you bring forgiveness for the sins in this place and the errors, and make us, with your tradition, bring forgiveness in this place, provider of this place, for we've erred, pardon this place, king of this place, for we've willfully sinned, for you, my Lord, are good and forgiving and abundantly kind to all who call according to your terms. Strong leader, okay. All divinity, who's a strong leader, don't hold yourself silent, don't be deaf or still. Strong leader, for behold, your foes are in uproar, and those who hate you have raised their head. Psalm 83, 2-3. Deity of vengeance. God is a verb and noun. That strong leader of vengeance and appearance. A strong leader of the vengeance and the appearance. And that would be Psalm 94, 1. Like the mercy of a father upon children, so is the mercy of God as a verb and noun upon this place. Salvation belongs to God as a verb and noun upon the people who are tamed, the Muslimin, as the Arabic term gives it. It's the blessing of the ritual prayer, and how you tell a Muslim apart from other people is that they have not given up on that pillar of the horizons. God as a verb and noun, master of legions, is with us, and a stronghold for us is whom was Yaequb's God that he made horizons to. God is a verb and noun, master of legions, praiseworthy is the person who trusts in you. God is a verb and noun, save. May the King have the answer in this place on the day that we call, and we are starting with that other portion. Deity of presencing, and my deity of the places influenced by the patriarchs. I'm made bitter with the weeping, and the hands stretched forth in darkness. For I've angered God amid the temple through treachery and robbery. He swiftly fled in 10 stages and ascended to the 7th heaven. That doesn't sound right there. He cut, because metaphorically maybe. And that almost sounds like a Kabbalistic reference, doesn't it? The 7th heaven, the 10 stages, anyways. He cut me down and distressed me and consumed me in the 4th month. So Tammuz is the 4th month. He brought the appointed time with full severity to break my blossoming youth. Twice he inflicted him with crippling and infirmity when the tranquil women in the temple bewailed the idol of Tammuz. Ezekiel 8:14. Well, why name the month after that, right? And so are we taking it back 3 astrological ages further from what you see there. So another 2. This is one of those ages of, what am I thinking of? Gemini? Yeah, Age of Gemini mythology is where it originates from. He condemned me and opposed me in the month of Tammuz, and laid 5 traps, for you proclaimed the calamities be dispatched. On their 17th day they could perpetuate depravities against me, for I let myself be trapped like a shameless bride. Well, trapping women, but shameless perhaps because she's made mistakes and they've caught up to her, and she's like, okay, I better settle down, this is best I can do, or something. Well, that's dating, right? Under a calm and auspicious wedding canopy, because I did not wait 6 hours longer for my shepherd Moses, and the tablets broken, and I adorned from his hand with golden ornaments and armband and bracelet. Nagrut. Okay, so here we are going to continue with NSAEPTZQR, but we have 2 SHs and 2 Ts, and then we have CHYWAEDSLHAMKN. So that's supposed to stand for something, maybe? Nangrut Biyum Apu Keshchati Durki Lashamid Siddur Abudatu Wakyats Mazbachu Qatsti Lahamid Alkun Malshukat Hathlaim Bathol Hatmid Pur Hatpura One Tepsura Suara Ani Tzya Namshula Mabli Chubol Wanthurpa Kanya Kachta Bachthata Brasha Wabkapal Tanya Wanya Ribwa Tazrih Kahyum Wahbats'ah Hayur Bashnia Shalwatcha Katsbi Madach Main Durash Lahsatira Shanu Lashunam Wantanwa Kasha Tamra Which Laba Lahtira Tetzak Al-Kali Chamda Shabu Naktara Touchmood Ainya Natsal Keshraf Aputhamus Hatura Churf Ashukim Wutzim Babur Heraima Sakol Yerudim Buhya Lakul Wabhaster Panim Mulhastakal Yed Hashlim Maknaf Shakwatzim Nakol At Thora Kahtaknas Wahamad Tatslam Bahikal Duwim Sagupim Banim Hahyu Mukdam Rashunim Samukut Tazrutiham Zu Kama Shanim Luqim Kasher Tashina Hadaburim Wa Akrabim Shunim Hugim Abad Shabram Wabthol Sakuyam Beishwanim Al-Qana Bahtapak. Well, I mean, the part that says Al-Qana is by the reader in particular. Bahtapak Bamqanyek Dashnim Rathubim Machkim Taqim Almadim Laulamim Kantheim Machthabim Bahbim Humpt Washalum Batsumut Chathubim Natsech Hiyutam Lashmucha Wolishun Wolmuadim Thubim. And then the other formula. Al-Mulk Yushab Al-Kasa Rachmim Matnahag Batsidut Muchol Aunut Amu Mabir Rashun Merba Machila Lichthaim Waslicha Lapushaim Asha Tazdakot Amkul Bashir Waruchla Kuratam Tagmul, the person reading in particular, Al Hurit Lanu Lumer Shulsh Ashra Wazkur Lanu Hiyum Burit Shulsh Ashra Kamu Shahwadat Lanu Makdam Kamu Shuktub Weird Yahweh Banan Wheat Yitzeb Amu Shem Wikra Bashem Yahweh. And then people say together, We Aber Yahweh al Panu Wikra Yahweh Yahweh al Rachum Wichnun Ark Apim Werb Chesed. Wampt Nutzer Chesed Lalpim Nasha Aun Wupsha Wutztha Wunka Saleechut Leshabaeh Aesher One Choltanu Solchlanu Abinu Ki Chathanu Macholanu Mulkanu Ki Pashanu Ki Ta Anithub Wasluch Werb Chesed Lakol Greek that were brushed away on the day of his wrath. And let us remember this he, him, his, when we're talking about divinity, doesn't mean we're calling God a male. When the ways of corruption brought destruction, I hated the order of the temple service and the regular elevation offerings on the altar. Therefore, the daily offerings stopped coming from the chamber of sheep. Shattered and dispersed is the storm, tossed indignant, likened to a boat without a captain and a wrecked vessel, punished for her sin. Notice that Israel's called a she when the surrounding nations aren't. The Arabs and the ones from so when the Bible talks about an invaders, the invading she from the north that represents Judah, obviously we're talking about the modern state of Israel, right? Elsewhere. And then again, with mourning and lamentation, her tormentors attacked her this day, and the city was entered in the second Commonwealth, and she was exiled like an outcast deer that no one cared to shelter. Well, deers do just fine wandering the wilderness. Just don't want them in the garden, right? They sharpened their tongue and treated her like a sheep whose wool and fat are free for the taking. She cried out over the precious vessel with which she'd been crowned. The darling of her eyes was removed when Apostamus burned the Torah. The foolish conqueror reveled and robbed and crushed victims to frustrate them. Yeah, there's no need to blaspheme as you conquer, but the vanquished ones felt the curses of it will be devoured. So it will be devoured was the curse that was uttered, and the concealment of God's face, not taking notice of them. Well, God notices, but they don't face. So therefore, there isn't something worth mentioning on their behalf, right? A hand that was broken off, to the waste of idols at the time of distress, when a statue was brought in and set up in the sanctuary. Pained and tortured were the children who were leaders. For years their woes came one after another, hurt as if by all sorts of bees and scorpions who said, their hope is lost and their potential has been made nullified in the nights of exile. And the person reading in particular, O jealous God, who restrains himself against what provokes of the fat and prosperous, may you raise up those who stand by you forever, like plants cared for lovingly. Let the truth and the peace that are inscribed in the fast become eternal gladness and joy. And festivals that are full of goodness. And then we have a couple formulas we keep seeing, right? Strong leader, sovereign, that brings in a situation upon the throne of mercies, acting with kindness, pardoning the sins of the people who have joined, removing the sins one by one, increasing ever the more, granting pardon to accidental sinners and forgiveness to intentional sinners, performing acts of generosity with all the living, You don't repay them in accord with their evil. So God gives us better than that. Oh God, and the person reading in particular, oh God, you taught us to recite the 13. So remember us today by the agreement of these 13, as you made known to the humble one in the ancient times, as it was written, and God has ever been known to send in a cloud, and stood with him there, and he called out, joining with the name of God as ever been known with it. Okay, so the people that joined with the name and calling out with that name of increasing existence, and everybody together, and God as a verb and noun passed before and proclaimed. God as a verb and noun, God as a verb and noun, strong leader, compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abundant in kindness and truth, preserving kindness for thousands of generations, forgiving iniquity, willful sin, and error, who cleanses. May you forgive the iniquities of this place and the errors of this place, and make this place for your tradition. Bring forgiveness to this place. Strong leader provider, for we have erred. Bring pardon to this place. King of this place, for there's been willful sinning in this place. For you, my Lord, are good and forgiving and abundantly kind to all those who call according to your terms. And the following is a responsive one. Shah, Nasks, Aesher, Namsur, Bede, Babul, Wagum, Shayr, Look, Yahma, Za, Kama, Wichanan, Kabun, Tayr, Yum, Nabur, Hawib, Watbaqa, Hayr, Lazat, Akaf, Waspuk, Kef, Bium, Chumash, Pazruni, Wal, Rangol, Hagol, Haluchut, Yitsauni, Wagum, Hashmid, Hatmid, Wub, Sugar, Habiyani, Wahusham, Alil, Bahiko, Khalil, Wamatstu, Kalani, Wahmuncha, Huncha, Woodtuck, Tsur, Bash, Habayr, Yum, Abur, Hawib, Watbaqa, Hayr, Mad, Atchul, Watchul, Bium, Shadi, Dutchpuni, Maur, Chushuk, Wagum, Shushuk, Kamu, Kadur, Sunpuni, Washupipun, Mutspun, Kushbolt, Shuthpuni, Wahtazid, Schulch, Yud, Yahtapir, Washire, Yum, Abur, Hawib, Watbaqa, Hayr, Hud, Labi, Shugbi, Halad, Hawib, Watbaqa, Hayr, Hud, Labi, Wamshugbi, Halad, Apuk Yashan Hala Tur'ah Am Nolah Asher Hashcher Kamu Kabshan Gadur Pertzi Babun Pertzi Wum Chirk Wum Chiduk Lakoth Shushan Bana Bait Zabul Lashib Gambul Hakramel Wahbashan Wayan Pakach Wanqam Kach Matsur Wamdishan Shaputh Alm Waz Yashlam Hamabah Wahmabayir Yum Babur Hawyab Wat Baka Higher. And then Al Malik Yushab Al Kasa Rachmim Matnahag Al Nut Amu Mabir Rashun Murba Machila Lachthame Waslicha Lapushaim Asha Tazdakut Amko Bashir Ruch La Kuratam Tanmul, and then the person reading in particular Al Hurit Lanu Lumer Shulsh Ashra Wazkur Lanu Hiyum Kurit Shulsh Ashra Kamu Shahudat Lanu Makdam Kamu Shuktub Weird Yahweh Banan Wit Yetzeb Amu Shum Wikra Bashem Yahweh. And then together, we Aber Yahweh al Panu Wikra Yahweh al Rachum Wachnun Ark Apim Warb Chesed Wamt Nutzer Chesed Lalpim Nasha Aun Wupsha Wuchthah Wunkah Waslichet Launu Wolchatnu Wuncholtanu Solchlanu Abinu Ki Chatnu Macholanu Molkanu Ki Pashanu Ki Ata Adnithub Waslech Warb Chesed Lakol Arake. And turn to the nation that was delivered to Babylon and Sire. For you it yearns, not so very long, supplicating like a young child on the day when the enemy was overpowered and the city was breached. So it's not talking about modern Arabia, it's talking about what's called the age of ignorance. Of course, ages of ignorance are only particular times of people. So it's not that there's no religion or that, there's only religion after that or something, right? For this, I'm bowed down, not in prayer otherwise, and I clap my hands on the day the 5 tragedies disperse me. Or you could bow and put your hands down in prostration and all that sort of stuff. Because, because of the golden calf, because of the golden cow and the tablets left me, the daily offerings were stopped. The enemy put me into chains, an idol was placed in the beautiful sanctuary. To this day, there's Israeli police going after people for practicing the biblical sacrifices or some of the other ones, right? And ordering people to use modern drugs on animals to the point of preemptively rather than, oh, you want to raise them naturally? Not in our country. And denied me his counsel. And the meal offering, the grain, came to a stop, and the enemy burnt the scripture in flames. On the day when the enemy overpowered and the city was breached, I became very ill and terrified on the day that the Almighty pushed me away. The light grew dark, and Sheshach tossed me like a ball, and the serpent from the north flooded me like a raging flood. And the hunter put out the grasping hand, as did the hairy he-goat. On the day when the enemy overpowered and the city was breached, glory of the heart, my fortress, will your wrath burn forever? Haven't you seen that people are exhausted with the blackening like a furnace? A lot of destruction going on as I'm recording this in the Holy Land of the Semitic people. The white invaders, not really. Fence in my breach through the offspring of Peretz, and pluck the rose from among the thorns. Build the dwelling place. You want to establish a place where you can cause a spiritual presencing and return the nation to reward, to Carmel and Bashan. Open the eyes according to your terms, and take revenge from Ezer and Dishan. Judge for the benefit of the speechless of the upright of God. And this will be requited, the nation that consumed and burned on that day when the enemy overpowered and the city was breached. Now, wasn't there a restoration in the 600s, right? The place was cleaned up, Temple Mount was cleaned up, and it was open for everybody to hold their worship services. And, if the Jews didn't want to perform their full rituals, that was just because they didn't want to perform them. But they were free to, right? And the formula, strong leader, the sovereign, who brings in the situation over the throne of mercies, acting with those mercies, pardoning the sins of the people who have joined, removing the sins one by one, increasingly granting pardon to accidental sinners and forgiveness to intentional sinners, performing acts of generosity with all the living, and you don't recompense them in accord with all their evil. And the person reading in particular, God, you brought us to recite the 13 attributes of mercy. So make mention of us today for this pact of the 13, as you made known the humble in ancient times. As it's written, God has ever been down, descended in a cloud, and stood with him there, and called out with the name God has ever been down. Now, you can work yourself into a trance to the point where, you start seeing colorful clouds and all that sort of stuff. But whether that's going on or not, God's not limited by space, that God goes back and forth. And the congregation and the readers say together in union, God has ever been down, passed before him and proclaimed, God has ever been down, God has ever been down, God compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, abundant in the mercies and truth, preserving kindness for thousands of generations, forgiving iniquity, willful sin, and error, who cleanses, may you bring forgiveness for the iniquities of this place and the errors of this place, and make us have your tradition in this place. Forgive us the center of this place, for we've made mistakes. Pardon us, the king of this place, for we've willfully sinned. To your conditions, my Lord, for the goodness and the forgiving and abundant kindness to all who call upon you. And Shlomo is the one that's said to be the author of all this.